WP, I do confess, in the beginning I didn't trust you. It wasn't because of what you were, but because you looked like someone who was accustomed to betrayal. Now, however, I have never felt safer than with my life in your hands. Yes, yes, I know, and you'll spend every waking moment of every day showing me, they said in unison. Please, stop touching my face. He huffs as he carries the drunk woman down the street like a princess, or a brat, as she repeats for the umpteenth time the same drunken ramblings. Are you sure your place is this way? He asks her as she lolls from side to side, smiling absently, reaffirming herself over and over again. Are you listening to me? The question is a bark, and he knows the answer is big N.O. I trust you, Christopher, you won't betray me. She looks up at him with admiration and longing as she strokes his cheek. For fuck's sake, I ain't Christopher, he says, frustration growing. He wants to just plop the drunken woman on the nearest stoop and go home. He hadn't intended to be stuck with her, and really he thought she was coming on to him, albeit a little strong with the whole "I feel safe with you" stuff she was saying. But next thing he knows, the bar is closing. She is clinging to him, repeating herself like a scratched CD, and they are alone on the curb, and the sobering feeling of not taking this woman to bed dawns on him. Hadn't she come with friends to the bar? Or this jack-off Christopher she keeps yapping on about? Some level of trust to have if he abandons her in a bar downtown shit-faced, and probably on something else too. He looks down at her, her hand stroking his cheek again. Her eyes glassy and dazed, her expression is so odd as if she's hallucinating or dreaming. I think it's time to get you to a hospital. Something ain't right. You obviously don't know where you live right now. Let me set you down. He grunts and tries to set her down, but she clings on to him, holding tight and threatening to send them both falling. For fuck's sake, he gasps, and coming dangerously close to falling over, he stumbles against the brick wall of an apartment building. He leans against it, catching his breath and trying to not freak out while considering throwing her onto the ground. He takes a few shaky, deep breaths to calm his rising anger. Her hand delicately strokes his face again, clumsy and the touch too light that it both tickles and causes his nerves to twitch. He nearly loses control, and months of therapy almost fly onto the ground with her. The irrational anger almost wins as he tenses, jaw clenched, mind blanking, and he shifts his weight to "in your hands," she says again in that strange hypnotic tone, and for some strange reason this calms him. He looks down and sees her face. A great overwhelming shame quenches the rage inside, and the drop of adrenaline exhausts him. A turmoil of emotions sift through him and leave his mind strained and apathetic. He adjusts his hold of her, scooting her closer to him so he can reach into his pocket. He fumbles awkwardly and slides his cell phone out and looks down at it over her, and it's dead. Great. He shoves it back into his pocket. The brick is rough and chilly on the back of his head where he taps it habitually, collecting his scattered thoughts and exhausted emotions. He wants a cigarette bad, but they are in his right pocket and he cannot grab them. He's too tired to focus, too little caring of what the right thing to do is when he starts walking again. Her hand does the same thing it's been doing, her words repeating the same words, and he blankly walks. 4 blocks and 3 steps take him to his front door. He has to press her against the door and lean onto her to finger the keys from his pocket. He shifts her in his arms, his tired, jelly-like arms, and as he attempts to shove his key into the deadbolt, it catches on her shirt and tears it slightly. She does not notice. Gulping down annoyance, he keys the lock and only bumping her head once, shambles inside. A backward kick closes the door. The couch saves him as his shaking muscles fatigue out and they plop onto his sofa. In the fall, his face lands onto her belly, his knees strike the floor, and he doesn't move. He can smell her, floral perfume and the feminine sweetness that radiates from her skin, but he lifts off. She reaches and he lets her as if he's resigned to it. Her movements are slower, heavy, and her words lack the conviction they had before. He watches as her eyes flutter, blinks slowly, and her arm sags. She falls asleep, looking both at peace and worried. He sighs and sits down on his butt. His legs twitch from dehydration. He turns and reaches in a long stretch, grabbing his phone charger and jamming it into his phone. He falls back sprawling onto the floor and looks up at the ceiling. "Fuck you, Christopher," he whispers. His blinking is heavy, and every time he closes his eyes it's the sweetest thing he's ever known. There's nothing better, nothing more euphoric than the space between his eyes being open and his eyelids drooping closed. He fights it less than a toddler trying to stay up for New Year's, and the space in between awakeness and asleepness becomes wider. Sleep takes him in a soft sigh.